everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thanks for joining and clicking on today's video, and if you're a subscriber, hello again. I do need to point something out because I've only just realised as I'm watching these videos back, I've missed a bit of paint behind the TV, so I'm going to address it before somebody else does. We will just ignore that because that's not what today's video is all about. So I've got my laptop here and I just wanted to go through, sorry if I keep looking down at my laptop, that's just what I'm going to be referring to because I've got my notes on here. So I wanted to do today's video as a Halloween themed video, but not necessarily, I don't know how to word this, not typically how you would decorate your home in a sense of all of the fun side of Halloween, so like the skeletons and the bats and the witches' hats, which I have nothing against, by the way. I absolutely love it. I think it's so fun, and we did do that last year. I've got about 3 6-foot skeletons packed away in the shed. I'm not against it. I just would like to try a different style of decorating this year, and I thought I could make a sit-down video and we could chat about it together because I've got a few ideas. I think you can probably see a little bit of a display of what I've already done. Sorry if you can see my laptop and I'm looking down here. I'm hoping I've got enough room here to be able to insert some photos of what I want to talk about. So for our first styling tip, it's going to be all about floral arrangements. So I'm sure we all like to decorate our homes with fresh florals, and it brings in a really nice scent to your home. Typically around springtime is when I would go for fresh florals. And I've been seeing a lot of images on Pinterest of flower arrangements that I typically don't see in my stores. I live in the UK. I don't know if this is more like an American-based florist type flower you'd purchase, or I'm just not going to the right places, but equally, spending all your money on flowers can get expensive. So I've been on a mission to try and find really good artificial flowers, and I managed to find kind of like a good base of where I want to start my collection, so I can swap florals out for Halloween, autumn, winter, and the seasons, so spring, summer, just get a good collection going. And I found these, I'm going to insert a little cutaway video. So I found these on Amazon and in my local Sainsbury's. I'm not sure if it's part of Sainsbury's or part of Habitat, but I found these and I think they're just the perfect spooky kind of looking weird arrangement that you can use in your home. So it's not so typically Halloween, and it's a different outtake on decorating. And I really love it, and I think I'd love to do a lot more around the house. Don't just keep it to one room. If you want to decorate every room in your home with these kind of florals, you can, and the great thing is they're not going to die. And even if they did, it's probably fitting with the Halloween theme. So, or you could even get some sticks, but I would suggest foraging for those if you want to go for like the stick kind of look. And then you can add your own, maybe you could add a couple of like cobwebs, things like that. You could do a stair garland with these kind of floral arrangements to make it like, rather than decorating for a Christmas stair garland, you can do a Halloween, autumn stair garland. So I really love this one. So that's my styling tip number 1 with the florals. So tip number 2 is going to be bleeding candles. I know I'm starting this video off by saying not to decorate typically for Halloween, but I think the bleeding candles, especially if you get black ones, black taper candles, that when you light them and they melt, it looks like bleeding blood, basically. I think they're a really nice take. Also, if you're not wanting to go too overboard for Halloween, it's a really simple touch that I think can elevate your space without it being too on the nose for Halloween, if that makes sense. I've seen a couple of other ideas which I think are really quite nice, where I've seen someone take a white taper candle and then tattoo small little bats onto there, which I thought was a really cute idea as well, and again, not too in your face. And that leads into styling tip number 3, which is getting any kind of candlestick that's kind of a spooky vibe. So for example, I've got 2 here. I picked these up from my local charity shop for like a couple of quid each, but they're so old looking and they're dark as well, which is really nice. They've got a nice patina to them also, so they're not typically, I mean, you could, if your home is this kind of style, you could absolutely have these out every year, and I did have these out, but I'm kind of leaning more towards my style's developing, and I feel like your style develops in a sense of everything about you, not just your home, like your fashion, your makeup, your hair. I feel like everything evolves, and I think my personal taste in our home has also evolved. So I didn't want to get rid of these because I think these are actually perfect for Halloween. So we have those. I've got 2 of these, and I think if you had one of these, or even like a chain link, you can pick up really cool candlesticks where the base here is all chain link. That would look really cool also. But I think this with your bleeded candle in the top, and then if you wanted to take it a little bit further, getting some black velvet ribbon, which I think would be really nice to then tie just around here. If you're not lighting your candles, typically I wouldn't light any candles. If I got the bleeding candles, I would probably light them till they actually looked like they were bleeding, blow them out, and then I wouldn't light them again. So for safety purposes, I don't know how tying velvet around here, if you were lighting the candle, would actually be safe. So please look into that before you do. But I think, yeah, if you're just doing what I said, by you're lighting your candles separately, letting it bleed, and then you're not lighting it again, and then adding that black velvet ribbon, I think is also a really nice way of decorating the candlestick. And that leads us into tip number 4. So I think scents for your home, as in smells, is a really nice way of decorating your home and creating a certain vibe and a space that just feels like autumn, and like you can get such a different interaction with your home through smells. So I would recommend getting any kind of candles that are kind of autumn themed with the smells. So typically I know Replica do quite a few autumnal fragrances as well as candles, so that you've got the by the fireplace and autumn vibes, kind of like those things. If you don't want to typically spend that much money, I completely understand, and you can pick up things from your local high street shops. I did find quite a few in the range today when I went earlier, and they had some nice smoky woody type fragrances. I say fragrances, scents for candles, so that was quite nice. So you could just pop down to your local shop and pick up some candles or some reed diffusers and just create a zone in your home that kind of feels quite spooky and autumnal with just smells. I think it's a really nice way of subtly decorating. You don't want it to smell too smoky, but you know what I mean. Just setting that scene for you, sitting at home, or if you're hanging out with your friends, you're hosting, just creating that vibe through candles and reed diffusers. And then tip number 5. So everyone loves a coffee table book. We're all obsessed with coffee table books, interior books, displaying our interior books, all of that good stuff. So this is a good example of subtly decorating for Halloween without it being too in your face. So you could swap out some of those books. I'm not saying get rid of all of them, just swap out some of them. Maybe you've got a small shelf that you can take some of your books off that are already on display and then just store those till the Christmas period. But you could put in books such as Frankenstein's book, I'll pop a picture here, or Dracula, just finding some of those really authentic books that are the genuine books rather than getting the plastic pile of books. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I think that's equally just as fun, but I think if you're wanting to take this as a different approach, a more laid back and subtle approach. I think just adding those books in there throughout your room is a really nice touch, and I think it kind of is then a small nod to Halloween without it being too in your face. Which brings us to our sixth and final tip, and that is absolutely decorate with pumpkins, but take a different approach and maybe get the really, really ugly ones. And I'm talking about the ones that are covered in all of the wart-looking things, the gourds, as they're called in the supermarkets, the gourds that are all irregular shapes, so not your typical perfect jack-o'-lantern, as they're called. Don't get the ones, you know, that are the very Halloween-y with the carved out eyes and the mouth. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. I just think if you want to take a different approach, this would be the way to do it. So you just pick up a couple of the strangest shaped ones that you can find in the supermarket and just popping them maybe around the base of a floral display. Like this floral display, for example, you could just pop a couple of those warty pumpkins around there and it will look really natural, in a sense of they have just literally been plucked from the ground. And you could add maybe little bits of moss in there. Just get creative and see what you can do. But I think this is a really nice way of decorating and celebrating Halloween. If you love the Halloween period, I absolutely love the Halloween period as well, but I just really wanted to try something different. So I will absolutely be making some more videos about this. It will probably be included in my vlogs of these tips that I'm going to put to use in my own home. So I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you stick around to see how the rest of the decorating goes. Thank you so much if you've made it to the end of the video. Please do like and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one.